So I also want to give you a couple of tips on how to elevate this to make it feel like a special date night and not just a regular date night. So one of the ways that you could do that is to make a menu on Canva. But then you can create some cute little menus that say, this is what we're going to be eating today. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Brooke. I am a 28-year-old remote tech employee, and on this channel, we like to talk about all things personal finances and how we can get better with our finances. So if that's something that is interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe and get notified every time I put out a new video. That really helps on my channel, and I appreciate everyone who subscribed and watches my videos. So with Valentine's Day coming up, I wanted to create this little video to talk about some cheap, inexpensive ways that you can have a date night at home to celebrate the holiday with your significant other and do it inexpensively. Valentine's Day is one of the most expensive days of the year to go out to eat. There's a lot of people out, and a lot of restaurants will do what is known as a prix menu, which means that you'll get a 3-course meal, 4-course meal, and for like $100 per person, you'll get to choose an appetizer, an entree, a dessert for your meal. But there will be limited options with what you get to choose, and you don't get to actually pick from the normal restaurant's menu. So you're kind of limited in that when you do a prix meal, and it is going to be pretty expensive. And that's what a lot of restaurants will do on Valentine's Day to entice people in, be like, oh, this is a fancy restaurant, and they'll do it that way. But it's kind of expensive, especially if you get drinks and you're paying for you and your significant other. It could be upwards to $300 just for that one meal. So I wanted to give you all some budget-friendly alternatives to do at home with your significant other to celebrate Valentine's Day, because I think that this is a great way for you to be intentional about spending quality time with your significant other, and it shouldn't be about the money. So I want to give you 3 ideas that I have for what you could do for an inexpensive Valentine's Day date. So number 1 is to cook something new at home. Preferably, this will be a meal that you can create in maybe an hour, and something that is more hands-on than just doing like a weekly night meal. And in this way, I think it'll be a really fun way for you and your significant other to make a date out of something that you have to do on a daily basis, cooking dinner. So one of the options that I suggest that you could do is to make sushi. Sushi is actually a really easy thing to create at home, and you can make this as customizable to your preferences. So if you're a vegetarian or if you don't like eating raw fish, you can make that customizable to whatever you would like. And it's a really cheap way to have something that feels a little bit more elevated than your weeknight affair. And what you can do is buy these little bamboo mats that help you with rolling up your sushi rolls. However, those are not needed. You can actually just do it with the stuff that you have at home using saran wrap to help you roll it tightly. And then once you do that, you can just cut it up into your individual pieces. So that's a great option for if you like Japanese food and you want to make something that's elevated but also fun and interactive to do together. So I also want to give you a couple of tips on how to elevate this to make it feel like a special date night and not just a regular date night. So one of the ways that you could do that is to make a menu on Canva. So Canva is a free resource that you can use to design things, and there's a lot of great design templates already on Canva available for the free tier, so you don't have to pay for a paid Canva account. But then you can create some cute little menus that say, this is what we're going to be eating today, and make it include what you're going to be doing for dessert, what you have for drink options, those kinds of things to make it really fun. And you could even print them out if you had a printer available, or you could make a QR code and scan that and have it show up on your phone. So that's a really fun way to just kind of elevate the dinner and make it feel kind of extra fancy. Number 2 date idea is to do a craft together. So this is another interactive hands-on thing that you can do, and I think it's a really fun way to spend Valentine's Day and do it inexpensively. You could go to a craft store and buy a pre-made kit of different things, like you could do crocheting, you could do an at-home wine and design night with a paint by numbers, whatever you and your significant other like to do that's kind of crafty, and then you can actually give your gifts to each other. So whatever you make could be like your Valentine's Day gift to your significant other, but you got to make it together at home. And what I would recommend when you're doing the craft is to maybe set out a little charcuterie board, have different things that you can snack on throughout your activity without having a full-blown meal. I think that's a really cute way to just do something that's fun at home, pretty inexpensive, especially if you look up different tutorials online about different things that you can make and different crafts. One of my suggested craft ideas is to actually get a cute little crochet kit like this. So this is a little crochet kit that I got, and this is from a company called The Woobles, and they give you all the stuff that you need in order to crochet and create these cuties. So this is something that you would have to buy in advance, but I know that at different craft stores, they have some pre-made kits that are similar to this that you could totally do and pick up. And one of the things that is really cute about these is just the fact that you get to keep them afterwards and have something to remind you of the date. So that's a really great idea. One way to elevate this is to make it feel like you're going to one of those date night craft events at a pottery place, at a paint by design place, something like that. By maybe if you have an apron or a smock that you could put on and put those on and wear them and have something fun to drink. That's always a fun way to elevate something without having to break the bank to do it. It's a really cute idea to just get together with your significant other and do something really fun. And my last idea, date number 3, is to have an at-home game night. So game nights are something that I really love doing with my friends, but there's also a lot of great games that you can play with your significant other that are just two-person. So this is a really fun way to maybe make it a little competitive and say, hey, if you win, then I will do X chore next week, and you don't have to do that. So it's a really fun way to kind of get into a little bit of a competitive streak with your significant other and just have a little bit of fun at home. And I have some game recommendations. This is my game bucket, I guess you could say. I have a ton more games than this, but these are some of the games that I had out. And a lot of these games I picked in here because they have 2-player versions. So we have this game here called 7 Wonders Duel. This is a really great game if you enjoy card games and strategy games, and this one is specifically designed for 2 players. We also have the classic Codenames Duet. So Codenames is a really fun guessing game where you give your significant other clues about what words that they need to choose, and this is their 2-player version specifically that has special rules for 2 players. Next, this is not a game that is specifically 2-player, but it's really easy to play with 2 players, but it is Azul, and it is a really cute tile making game where there's a bunch of these little tiles in here and you're trying to make a pattern with the tiles, and you get points based on how well you make the pattern. And finally, if you're into more adventure games like Dungeons and Dragons and those kinds of stuff, Here to Slay is a super fun game, and it is a game from the makers of Unstable Unicorns, and basically what you do is you build an animal party that goes out and slays monsters. And so this one is super fun to play with your significant other as well. To build your party, you can also sabotage the other player's party, or you can try and defeat monsters. So that is a game I really love and recommend you all try out. Now, if you don't have any of those games or you don't have the money to buy those games, what I recommend is to look in your cabinet, see what games you do have, and then go online and search for 2-player rules. There's a lot of games that have modifications for only 2 players, and so you can look those up and then start playing the games that you already have, like Monopoly or Scrabble or the Game of Life, those kinds of things, and just have a fun competitive game night. If you're not into board games but you're into video games, there are some great 2-player or co-op video games that I can recommend to you that you can buy on Steam or other consoles. And they're fairly cheap to buy as well. So most of these are going to be $25 or less, but they're really fun and they give you a lot of gameplay for how much money you have to pay. So my first recommendation is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is such a fun game. It's where you move to this small town and you start a farm. So you're working on your grandpa's old farm, and so you get to raise animals and you get to grow crops and make friends with the people in the village. And it's just a really fun, cozy game to play. And with that, you can create a co-op farm where you and your significant other can build the farm together. Now, to play the co-op version, you will both need to have a version of Stardew Valley, so you'll have to buy it twice, but it's really fun and gives you hours of gameplay. Secondly is It Takes Two. So It Takes Two is specifically a co-op game where you are playing as a husband-wife who are having some marital issues, and they get transported into these wooden dolls that their child has made, and they have to go through and try and get back to their human bodies. And what they do is they go through all of these different little places around their house and around their property and have to defeat monsters and different things to get back to their bodies, and they also have to learn how to cooperate together. So for this one, you actually only need to buy one version of the game, and then the other person will need to download what is known as the Friends Pass, and then you can play it. So you only have to buy the game once to be able to play it, both of you all. And the third one is for people who like more horror games, but it's called We Were Here. And this one is where you and your partner are actually going to be in two different locations at the very start of the game. And you're going to have to work together to solve these different puzzles because your screen and your partner's screen will show different things. And so you'll have to work together to solve the puzzles together and not get eaten by the scary monster. It's definitely more for people who like jump scares and that kind of stuff, but it's a really fun game and probably takes only about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay to finish, whereas Stardew Valley and It Takes Two are going to take a little bit longer. But that's for you all who like to maybe play a little bit more scary games. We Were Here. So definitely check those out, and I'll put a link to all of these games below so you can check those out. Now let's talk about the tip about how to elevate this. One of the things that I think would be super cute to do a game night is to have matching clothes. This doesn't have to be something that you go out and buy. You could thrift these, or if you just had stuff that were similar colors, maybe you both have joggers, put on the joggers, put on a cozy sweatshirt that you have, and then you can play on your computer together. Or one way to do it is if you have an HDMI cable, connecting your computer up to the TV to have a bigger screen to play on is really fun. So those are some of the date night ideas that I have that are at home, inexpensive. Let me know in the comments below what kind of date nights you've done before for Valentine's Day or other special events. And if you're interested in trying any of these ideas, all of these ideas are infinitely customizable with the things that you and your significant other enjoy. So really try and be creative and think outside the box of things that you can do together to enjoy the holiday in a way that feels good for you. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in another video. Bye, y'all.